चीज ने आपको इंस्पायर किया अपने लाइफ के इतने साल जो आपने दिए, अपनी पूरी लाइफ एक तरह से एजुकेशन को दी है, तो व्हाट इंस्पायर्ड यू फॉर दिस कंट्रीब्यूशन सर?
You see, there are, I wouldn't say that I have been an inspired person that, that was the only thing that I wanted to do in life and so on. There are choices that people make as they go along, as they see the world. They say, okay, this is something that I would like to do. This is not something that I would like to do. Somewhere around the time when I was in my degree classes, in my BSc classes, I started working with school children. I used to do small programs in astronomy, show them the night sky, show them various things about the moon and the sun and so on. And when I started doing that, I sort of guessed that I could perhaps be better equipped to be a communicator. And a teacher is the person who has to have a very strong hold over an ability to communicate. And also, my educational career took me through an MSc Ed program. This was a master's degree in science education from one of the colleges of the NCERT, where we were formally taught how to be a teacher. So, sort of combining the insights that I got as a professional teacher and the fact that I had worked with children in trying to communicate science, sort of put me on a path which took me into education, let's say. But then the best part about this was my first 5 years as a teacher. I joined a primary school. This was a school in Mysore, and I started working with class 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in a way, if you ask me who taught you how to be a teacher, I would say those children who are 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, they were the ones who taught me how to be a teacher. Now, the most important part I believe that they taught me was to slow down. That there is somebody who's trying to receive you, somebody who's trying to follow what you're saying, and therefore you don't need to be in a hurry to show off what is it that you know, but rather to try and see if you can reach out to that person and do what that person wants. So these small children, I believe, are the people who inspired me into this field. And as we went along, and I was also a teacher educator, so I had a chance to look at, when B.Ed students go to classrooms, start teaching, I started looking at what kind of struggles they have, what kind of problems they face, how they learn to become a teacher, how they, because if you're looking only at yourself, you believe, yeah, that's the only way to do it. But when you see another 50 people struggling to become a teacher, struggling to write on the board, struggling to remember the content in the class, struggling to ask questions, or even maintain some kind of a order in the class, that is where you start asking yourself. And it was a very good opportunity that I could sit at the back of the class and observe somebody trying to teach, somebody trying to get a hang of teaching. So these two experiences, which lasted for about a decade, helped me when I joined NCERT in the year 96. And in NCERT, the institute to which I was attached, the Central Institute of Education Technology, this institute has been in the forefront of radio and television to begin with. In fact, many of us belonging to our generation, belonging to a slightly older generation, younger generation, have all grown up with watching school television programs on Doordarshan. The most famous of them being that Ek Anek or Ekta, Ek Chidiya, Anek Chidiya song.
We
Right?
used to hear
This
that song.
this was a product which came out of that institute. So in a way, almost any Hindi program that you would see, which was broadcast on Doordarshan, which was connected with children with school television, would come out of this institute. And so therefore, I got introduced to television. I got introduced to radio. I got introduced to how people package material and look at content in terms of the media part of it. Also along the way, when I started my career, computers were the just not there were just about a few computers here and there. In fact, when I joined CIET, in CIET there were exactly 2 PCs, and both of them were with some big bosses, and therefore we would never get a chance to even hold it. Internet was not heard of. Nobody knew what is what is internet at that point in time. So this gave us an opportunity to jump onto a completely different technology, start looking at things from a different perspective. And this culminated by the time I finished with NCERT, which was in the year 2010 to 2016, when I was the joint director of CIET. we managed to create two big platforms. One is called ePathshala, and most
Okay.
students who are using the NCERT textbooks would be aware of this, that
Yes,
every
yes.
single NCERT textbook is now available on a mobile. So the technology associated with that, the working of how to convert a textbook into a way in which it can be rendered on a mobile phone, how it can be made available to every single child across the country. These are the kinds of things that I got an opportunity to play with. So it isn't
Ji.
as if we say that I want to go to the moon. You can't decide that. You are
Yes,
pushed into a place and you make the most of it. You
the
try to learn
situations
as much
take
as
you
you
there.
can, and how you benefit from that is what makes you.
Exactly, sir. Whatever you said is very true. And as you said, the children really inspire you to do something, to extend your limits and to go beyond. When there is a need, obviously there is a attention. Yes. And I would also like to know, sir, how has your journey been? Like, as you said, you have gone through so many stages. You started as a school teacher, and then you ended as a joint director in CIET. So, how has the journey been actually?
Well, like every other person, I have struggled. It's not as if it's been, there weren't anything called expressways and super highways available, and you could not go at 100 kilometers per hour. At every
Yeah.
step, you have to learn new things. Every step, you encounter other people. You have to learn to accommodate them. You have to learn to live with them, and learn to do things together. See, the most
Yes, sir.
important part of a professional life, as distinct from a school life, is that as a child
Yes.
you have always been taught, parents have been trying to tell you that you should succeed, and you are not supposed to be looking at who others around you are, what they are doing, and so on. You concentrate on what you're doing. Now
Yes, sir.
once you get into professional life, typically, like for instance in the television studios that we work with, we used to have something like some 25, 30 people associated, all of them standing behind the camera. There was only one
Okay.
anchor, one person, one
Mhm.
actor in front of the camera, but there were some 25,
Yes.
30 people behind. And
Yes, sir.
every one of these people was extremely competent in that small area that they were specialists in. So the
Yes, sir.
person who did the lighting for that studio knew exactly what lighting
Mhm.
is, and nobody else knew that. Now,
Yes.
so there you start learning that it is not
Mhm.
the paper qualifications of a person. Now, many of
Mhm.
these people were only 10 standard pass or 12 standard pass, and or maybe had a little diploma in something, right? And we were all supposed to be PhDs in, but that doesn't mean anything. You don't know anything when you stand in front of them. The cameraman
Yes,
will
sir.
immediately tell you this lighting is wrong, that this is not the way it should be done. Or the person who is looking, hearing you speak will tell you, no, look, you are not doing this correctly. This is how it should be done. So you'll get to
Yes, sir.
live with people, learn with people, and that is the one which teaches you the most. So therefore, this journey, I believe I owe it to all those people who have helped me be what I am. But at the same time,
Right.
there have been enormous numbers of ups and downs. And this
Yes,
should
sir.
be taken in our stride. Everywhere, every profession looked at
Mhm.
from the outside will look all glorious. But on a
Yes,
day to
sir.
day basis, everybody has to struggle. Everybody has to
Yes,
learn
sir.
new things. Everybody has to do things differently. And should be able to impress, should be able to inspire, should be able to take that entire team together with us. Now typically this
Yes,
is
sir.
relevant in schools classrooms also. Now I might be the one teacher who goes into my subject, into my class, and do whatever I want, but that
Ji.
child is listening to maybe 5 6 different people. That child is looking at each one of us. So together we
Yes.
are responsible for bringing that child up, and that is
Yes,
something
sir.
that I learned in this journey.
Very true, sir, and very inspiring. As you said, everything has its own struggles behind it. So, but just maintaining your pace, just keeping the patience and going on learning, keeping learning is the only thing that we must concentrate on, I guess. And so, we have known about your professional life, we have known how your journey has been, but what are you as a person? Who are you as a person? We would like to know that.
Okay. I don't believe I'm, endowed differently. It's I have never considered myself as some super intelligent fellow or whatever. I also took, for instance, around my 12th standard, went and tried the IIT
Mhm.
entrance. failed in that.
Okay.
I have attended a lot of interviews and not succeeded there. All right, but each time I have had a chance to ask myself, what is it that you did or did not do, which resulted in success or failure at that point in time. So
Yes, sir.
the ability to reflect, the ability to ask yourself very deep, serious questions, the ability to be
Yes.
very critical of yourself, will
Yes.
over a period of time help you to sort of face the world when somebody else criticizes you. If you have not cultivated the habit of being critical yourself, then you will get hurt. So
Yes, that's true.
if at all there is one thing that will characterize me, it will be that
Mm.
I am my worst critic. I don't need another
Okay.
person. Even now, while I am speaking to you, I am actually watching every word I am saying. So the moment I make a word which is inappropriate, I would go ahead and change it. So I'm listening to myself. I'm being critical about that. So this is one aspect
I
that I
understand.
believe I have cultivated and which has helped me. Of course, it has got me into trouble because I have believed that other people will also think like this, and therefore have been critical
Mm.
about other people and have they have not liked it. So they,
Okay.
you get in trouble with this, and
So no,
particularly when
no.
they have.
I would be more than happy if you will tell me where I'm going wrong, and if
Oh,
I'm going wrong somewhere, please correct me then.
yeah,
And
we'll do that.
that is really very inspiring, sir. Really inspiring.
There's
And
one other
I
aspect of this which
believe.
I believe I need to mention, which is about all of us who have been teachers, all of us who have gone through the B.Ed kind of course have heard of something called Bloom's taxonomy, and we have heard of something called knowledge, understanding,
Mhm.
application, and all that. Now, in the application stage of Bloom's taxonomy, there are three words which when I was a student I hadn't learned, and as I grew
Okay.
I could apply that not only to the topics, the subjects, lesson planning, and so on, but to my life itself. And these are words
Mhm.
like analysis, synthesis,
Mhm.
and evaluation. Now everything that you do, you should be able to break this apart. It's like, you take a toy, you want to find out how it works, the way it works, and you sort of break it apart
Yes.
and figure out what is that
Yes.
wheel inside, what is that nut inside, bolt inside. So even the thought
Yes.
process, even the way you think about something, if you are able to analyze it, and then you are able to put them all together in a different way. So each of the questions that you are asking me, I'm actually thinking through that and saying, okay, how is this relevant to the person who's listening to me? How is this relevant to the person
Mhm.
who would perhaps be in a similar position somewhere else? How is this relevant to a person who has a child at home and is aspiring, is dreaming, saying that what shall I do with this child when this child goes to second standard, fourth standard, 10th standard, and so on. So synthesis and then evaluation of it. Now you can go ahead and put things back, but it has to work. So you need to be able to
Yes.
judge whether things work or don't work. So analysis, synthesis, and evaluation is a kind of um, a taviz, which one of my teachers, Professor A.K. Sharma, who was the director of NCRT,
Mhm.
he was also my teacher
Mhm.
in my MSc classes. So he sort of gave me this as a taviz, and this is something that I hold on very dearly.
Okay.
And every time I
Mhm.
encounter something new that I have to learn, something new that I have to communicate, I use these tools. If I can analyze it, if I can find that
Mhm.
every piece of material there is should be there first of all, and then when put together they work together as a system and it works correctly, only then you are in a position to say that yes, what you have done is correct. So I believe these are the two things which sort of characterize me, distinguish me.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, as you have characterized these three analysis, synthesis, and evaluation over here, and I guess that these are actually these are the things which are actually missing from the education because we set some boundaries, we set some limits for the students in the school sometimes, and we actually don't let them analyze, do the synthesis and the evaluation at that time. So, taking forward our topic over this in this direction only, I would like to ask you, sir, as today the education has become a trend, moreover than moreover than being a education itself. It has become a trend. It has become a fashion that हाँ मेरा बच्चा यहाँ पढ़ रहा है, मेरा बच्चा कौन से स्कूल में पढ़ा है. That matters more than what he is learning over there. ठीक है, मेरा बच्चा emphasis more in the metro city, developed strategy ज़्यादा डेवलप्ड एरिया होगा वहाँ पे उतना ज़्यादा how the status is the thing is there, I guess. So according to you, sir, why we are sending our children to school? School क्यों भेजते हैं हम अपने बच्चों को? What is the main purpose of sending them over there?
इसमें हम बारी बारी से 3 अलग अलग वर्ड्स यूज करते हैं इस तरह के डिस्कशन में. One is education, one is schooling, and one is teaching and learning. Let's try and see if we can attach separate meanings to each one of these. Now, if you ask me, are you an educated person? I would say I'm trying to be one. Education is not something that gets completed at any point in time. Perhaps when I am on my deathbed and I'm going to be switched off in the next 5 minutes, I can ask myself that did I benefit from all those learning that I was exposed to, and have I reached a point where I can call myself educated? And even at that point, I will be able to say there are a few more things that I need to learn. So education is a journey. Education will never be completed.
Yes, sir.
How is schooling different from this? Now, the schooling is a means to, in fact, if you get to the dictionary meaning of schooling itself, it is trying to channelize you. It's trying to give you the tools. It is trying to teach you the alphabet of how to learn. Yes. All right. So perhaps schooling will help you become educated. But education is not what is done in schools. Let's be very clear about that.
Yes.
Education is teaching you the tools for, schooling is something that will teach you the tools for education. It will give you the language, it will give you the mathematical abilities, it will give you the analytical abilities, it will teach you how to think, how to organize your thoughts and so on, how to communicate. And all of these put together will help you become educated. So someone who has completed school, someone who has 4 degrees, someone who's, a PhD, does not necessarily classify as a person who is educated. So we need to be very clear about this particular word. So now let's ask ourselves this question: why do we send our children to school? And here, let's look at ourselves as parents, people who want to send our children to the best possible school that is available around. And we make choices. We say, okay, we don't want our children to go to this government school. We want them to go to this private school. We want them to wear this kind of uniform. We want them to do these kinds of things and so on. Now, of course, affordability will make a difference. People who can afford better things will perhaps, believe that that is the kind of education that I want my child to get. So education is something that's not going to come out of schools. Education might be possible if that person decides to become educated as a consequence of the tools that one learns in school. Now,
that's true, sir.
Schooling itself, as I mentioned, if it is a training in thinking, a training in learning, then that is what must be the benchmark, that must be the target of why we send our children to school. So at each stage, if we are able to ask as parents, is my child becoming more capable of thinking? Is my child becoming more capable of being on his or her own? For instance, if you say that my child is about 10 years old, is this child a competent 10-year-old? That child will not be an 18-year-old. But if the child is behaving like a 5-year-old, there is a problem.
Yes, sir.
So we have some general notions of, how should a 14-year-old be capable of thinking? How much should a 16-year-old be capable of doing? And that is why the Constitution, for instance, say that you cannot marry before you're 18, you cannot vote before you're 18, and so on. So at 18, if I have finished my 12th grade, or if I have not finished my 12th grade, I am still eligible to vote. What does that mean? It means that I am in a position to apply my mind, think through the problems of society, ask myself whether this person who is asking for my vote is a good representative of mine. Have I become a competent citizen of the country? All right. So that's the way I would look at schooling itself. Now, if I am speaking about teachers here, teachers have a slightly different role. They are not parents. They do not have the opportunity of looking at that child for 24 hours. They have a very limited period of engagement with individual children. But they are experts. Experts at what? experts
Yes,
at
sir.
enabling somebody to learn,
Yes.
experts at teaching how to learn.
Mhm.
So, like you would go to a tailor to get your clothes stitched, like you would go to a cobbler to get your shoes repaired, you will not go to someone else to do that, because that person not only has the tools with him, that person also knows what to do. So you're
Yes.
willing to risk a very good piece of cloths to a tailor and say, go ahead and cut this. Now,
Mhm.
with a kind of a guarantee that at the end of it, he's going to produce some material, which is
Yes,
something that
sir.
you would like to wear and you would be proud of wearing. Very similarly, a teacher is somebody to whom a parent says, I trust this person. I am willing to hand over my 2.5 year old child to this fellow.
Yes.
And I'm sure that this fellow is going to take this child across, another 15 years. And at the end of it, he's going to deliver to me a child who is a competent adult. Now, if we start looking at schooling in this manner, there is no social studies here, there is no science here, there is no maths here, there is no English here, there is no Hindi here. We are
Yes, sir.
not talking literacy.
Mhm.
Anybody who, whether they go to school or they don't go to school, will already have learned speaking. They will, if their ears are okay, they will have also learned listening. If their
Yes,
feet
sir.
are okay, they will start walking, they will start running also, they will slowly learn cycling also, they will start going around life. So one doesn't have to go
Yes,
to
sir.
school for these things, but
Mhm.
one goes to school for learning about oneself, learning about the people around, and learning about larger systems like the nation, the world, organizations, and so on. So the
Yes.
ability to cope with that large amount of information, to make sense of it, to be able to interact with it, to be able to ask very searching questions about it, this is what I believe should be taught to children in schools. So in
Yes,
that
sir.
sense of it, science, maths, English, Hindi, all these are vehicles for learning. They are not the content of learning. It does
Yeah.
not matter whether you have learned sound or light or electricity, or whether you have learned about Gandhiji or Nehru or somebody else. It is what you can do with that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes,
therefore,
sir.
I believe schooling should be considered as that stage of life where children who are 2.5, 3 year old are entered into a school where they can't even perhaps walk, they can't even wear their own dress, they can't even do lots of things. We slowly
Mhm.
groom them into something, and by the time they come out
Yes,
of
sir.
12th standard, we say, you make a choice of a career, you make, you go to this place and start working, you start doing these things, you start
Mhm.
choosing these courses and so on. So we believe they have become competent at the end of it to be able to take such decisions.
Yes, sir.
So I would look at it that way.
So that's very true. And as you said, that for education, schooling is must. But when a person has gone to school, it doesn't mean that he has become educated. So moving on to our next question, I would say that we have been hearing of this word holistic education, sir. So what does this holistic education actually means, and how it is different from the scholastic education which is being delivered in most of the schools, and the holistic part is just being missed out?
Hmm. Hmm. See, typically, schools are a very rushed affair, particularly because we give very limited time, some 5, 6 hours every day, and maybe some five,
Yes,
six
sir.
days in a week. And
Mhm.
within that, we try to sort of break this up into some kind of a timetable. We have periods, and so a teacher
Mhm.
who is walking into a class knows that I have only about 25, 30 minutes to do whatever it is that I want to do. And slowly she stops doing education, she starts doing schooling. So she starts doing,
Yeah.
I'm a science teacher, I will do
Mhm.
science teaching. And there also she sort of forgets what is it that gets called as science teaching. She will say, I have a science textbook which I
Mhm.
have to teach. And again, she is not
Yes.
going to remember what is the fourth chapter and the fifth chapter. She will say, now I am doing the sixth chapter, I should be worried only about the sixth chapter. And so
Yes.
therefore, slowly over a period of time, every teacher professionally has compromised, every teacher has come to a point where rather than teaching English, they are teaching the English textbook.
Yes.
Rather than teaching children how to speak, read, write, listen, we are teaching them some story of whatever that is there in the inside that textbook. We are
Yes,
teaching
sir.
them to remember things. We are teaching them to unconnected, disjointed facts of various subjects. We are trying to help them remember those things, which it does
Mhm.
not result in learning from the child's point of view. Let me give you another example. I recently, congratulated a daughter of a friend of ours who happens to be in the top 1% of ICSE. The
Okay, sir.
ICSE results came out very recently, and this girl has
Mm-hmm.
topped. She has
Mm-hmm.
300 out of hundreds, and another
Mm-hmm.
two which are in the one is 92, one is 95.
Mm-hmm.
And this child is going to take the NEET examination on 16th of this month,
Yes, sir.
and she is having nervous breakdowns.
Oh.
Now, a child who's so
Mm-hmm.
capable, a child who can give me any question paper, I'll give you 100 out of 100 kind of confidence that she has. She can
Mm-hmm.
take in so much of information, package them and all that. Is psychologically not ready to face an exam.
Not really. Yes, sir.
Okay.
The
Now,
pressure is always
take
there.
take instead another example of a person who's on the sports field. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
sports person has to, irrespective of what my training is, what my capability is, on that day, in that racetrack, I have to perform. Somebody
Yes, sir.
runs half a second faster than me, that person is going to
Mm-hmm.
win. Now,
Mm-hmm.
here is a completely different mindset that through which somebody is being trained.
Yes, sir.
Take a person who is a musician.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, someone who can, let's say, play some musical instrument, let's say a violin. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this person not only knows the wordings of that song, not only knows the entire flow of that song, not only is a master of that instrument itself, what to physically do to get those sounds in that manner. Not only
Mm-hmm.
is this person, uh, you know, able to keep pace with the other percussion instruments and the other people who are playing with it, but is also able to get out of himself and listen to it, not only enjoy it, but keep on correcting and getting through that. You realize
Yes,
how
sir.
complex this whole activity is if someone is trying to play a song
Mm-hmm.
on an instrument. Now, the kind of training that is required here, if we do not concentrate on such trainings and believe that teaching them 4 words in English, 5 formulas in mathematics, and 6 facts in science, then we are not preparing a child adequately to face life.
Yes, sir.
As an adult, you have hundreds of
Mm-hmm.
things that you need to manage. You have to manage your
Mm-hmm.
household, you have to manage that professional life that you are in, you have to go to that factory or whatever other place that you go to. You have to learn to live with other people, you have to learn to take decisions about various things. Okay, it could
Mm-hmm.
be a child's education, it could be constructing a house, it could be making some more money, it could be about saving that money, it could be about your health, it could be about various other things. Now, how does somebody get
Okay.
equipped for that? If all I got out of school at the end of it was that I know the formula for the Newton's laws of motion, that's
Yes,
not going
sir.
to help me. So when we say
Mm-hmm.
holistic education, we are looking at every aspect of ours, our personality, of how confident we are, of how afraid we are, of how anxious we are, of how happy we are, of how we take things which come to us. Someone might be
Yes, sir.
short, someone might be dark, someone might be
Mm-hmm.
wearing spectacles, someone else might have a hearing problem, someone else might have a bald head. Now, all of these
Yes.
people have to live life. All of them will have to be comfortable in their own skin.
Yes.
This we believe is education, and this is what will finally make somebody successful or unsuccessful. All the degrees, all the marks are not going to help me succeed in life, and this
Yes, sir.
should be the emphasis of every school. And that is why the curriculum also talks in terms of all these subjects being put together, integrated.
Yes,
So
sir.
you should be able to do some drama, you should be able to play some games, you should
Mm.
be able to learn art. You become a more complete person when you have been exposed to all these things, and that's why the whole self is being developed, and that is why we call that holistic education.
Thank you so much for your insights, sir. And sir, I would, moving on to our next question, I would like to ask that nowadays, most of the students, what they are doing, most of the teachers, what they are doing, they are making the students dependent on them. Even the parents are doing the same thing. Like the students are totally dependent on their teachers or their parents for their study and with their holistic development as well. So how we can make the students independent learners?
Yeah. See, the first thing that we must appreciate is the need for such holistic education. Right? It is.
Yes.
I have already completed my education, or rather schooling, in a way. Every parent has also completed schooling. No parent has to take the exam. No teacher has to take the exam again. So the person who's going to take that exam, the person who's going to be called for being tested in life, the person who's going to make choices of careers, the person who's going to go and start working in those newer places are children. Now, so therefore, the entire set of questions that we must ask ourselves is, as a consequence of whatever it is that we are doing, how is this child developing? It is not about me, it is about that child. Once we get to that perspective, we are looking at children itself. As I mentioned, you start off with something like some 2.5 year old child. You send that child to a play school. At that
Yes, sir.
point in time, you have to hold that child's hand. You are
Yes.
afraid while crossing the road on behalf of that child. You
Mhm.
are afraid that the child is going to fall, and therefore you hold that child's hand. Okay,
Yes.
but slowly as the child becomes older, the child can start doing these things on its own.
On its own.
The child, for instance, can be on a cycle without falling. Right?
Yes, sir.
That's when the training wheels have to come off. Now, the training wheel of that teacher's hand, of that parent's hand, also should come off. So, by the
Yes, sir.
time the child comes to middle school, there is some things that the child is already capable of.
Yes,
We
yes.
should have the courage, we should have the inclination to let that child do what it is that that child is capable of. Yes, we might be anxious, we might want to push that child a little more, we might want to demand a little more from that child, but that is not the same as holding that child's hand so hard that I'm not going to allow that child to do things on its own. Now, as that child comes to a little older classes, 9th standard, 10th standard, all of us know about adolescence. All of us know that these children have already started talking like an adult, behaving like an adult. And the
Yes.
more you start restricting at that point, the more they are going to rebel.
Mhm.
So everybody who's in high school, everybody who's in higher secondary classes, all of us know this. So much so that by the time they come to 12th standard, they are no more listening to their parents at all. They would like to take decisions on their own. Right? They believe they
Yes.
can take that decision. Now, so the role of the parent cannot be the same through this entire journey. Similarly, the role of the teacher cannot be the same throughout this journey. So while in the very early classes in preschool, we are holding the child's hand and guiding that child and telling that child every little thing of what to do, of how to write a letter, of how to pronounce a word, of how to organize their notebooks and so on. And the parent might even say, "Have you taken all your books?" And then show me this book, show me this book, show me this book, and pack the bag and ensure that. And when the child comes back home, you're actually looking into that lunch box and saying, "Have you finished eating or no?" Right?
Yes.
Now, this is valid for a 2 year old, but we need to
Mhm.
have a little progression where we are slowly going to release our hand and allow this child to fly at the other end.
Yes, sir.
Now, attached to this is also the capability that must be built in the children for doing this. One
Yes, sir.
is giving the child the independence. This can also be done in the following manner. You say that I am not responsible for you. It is you who have to take the exam. Go ahead, do what you want. I will not bother. The other is to sort of guide this child, to help this child to become more capable, to demand at each stage. These can get translated into very subtle methods. We will deal with this as we go along in this conversation of exactly what must parents do, what must teachers do. But
Yes, sir.
watching out that my child is indeed becoming an independent learner. At we have a very simple way of terming this. We say that by the time the child completes class 5, the child comes into middle school. The
Yes.
child should be able to read independently. We are not talking of comprehension, because if you look at the 6th standard syllabi, you will see that there is a separate textbook called social studies book. There's a
Yes, sir.
separate textbook called science. There's a separate
Yes.
textbook called English. Now the child is going to carry these 6 books to the school. The child is going to carry back these 6 schools. When that child pulls out the science textbook, that child should be able to read that book. It understands is a different thing. We are not getting into that.
Yes, sir.
What is that child reading? The child is not reading science. The child is reading English. Or if the child is in a Hindi medium class, then it is reading Hindi. Right? Now, through the language of Hindi, we are communicating some concept of science. Now, if the child does not become capable of reading Hindi fluently, then the child is not going to make sense of
He will
science.
not be. Yes.
Right? So children not succeeding in science, social science, mathematics is not because of something else, but it's because of language.
True, sir.
And one of the ways in which we will say that, yes, my child is now bada ho gaya hai, is by saying that my child can independently read this textbook. And by the time the child comes to 8th standard, we will say, my child is able to learn on his or her own.
Okay, sir.
It does not require a teacher. It can do, because all said and done, I have learned reading, right? So if I pick up the 9th standard textbook, why can't I read? If there is a word which I don't understand, I know how to look at a dictionary and find the meaning of it. I know how to go to the web and find out something more about it. I know which is a concept, which is a noun, which is a verb, which is what. So if I'm able to do that, why do I require coaching at that stage also? Frankly, I would not require it if I was taught what I should have been taught during those years. So these are sort of, benchmarks or milestones for how you look at somebody becoming an independent learner. There are very little small things that, must happen. Teachers, children should, just a second.
Yes, sir. No problem. I would like to.
Sorry.
Okay, sir.
Let me just continue with what I was saying.
Sure, sir.
So basically, what we are saying is that children become capable of being independent as they become older. But we need to create the environment for that. As parents, as teachers, we need to not only tell them you can become independent, give them the confidence that you can become independent, show them how to become independent, and then demand that they become independent.
Yes.
Simple things like, have you done your homework is not a question that I would bother to ask. Do you know this? Can you do this? If so, show me how you can do it. The teacher should also do this. The parent should also do it. Demand that the child becomes independent. Once the child knows it has to live its own life, I believe the child is going to learn the ropes of how to do that.
Yes, sir. So, but basically, what we are seeing in classes, what happens in classes, as you said earlier, that that a 5th class student should be able to read independently. So that is not happening in the most of the schools and with most of the students right now. Like what happens is, even the 8th grade student, he doesn't understand his science or his SST textbook. He doesn't understand that independently, and that is what, according to you and what we are seeing, actually is the main problem here. So, sir, how can the teachers hand it over to the students? अभी students के साथ में यही तो problem आ रही है कि teachers, they think कि if we will hand it over to the students, our result will get down. If they will leave it to the students, their result will get down, and then eventually their performance will be questioned. So the teachers are just thinking कि we must do everything, and we must cook everything and give it to the students.
So first of all, I understand. Yes. First of all, the issue that I mentioned is that you need to have the confidence that you are a good learner. And I'm talking of a teacher here.
Okay.
Like the tailor has the confidence कि एक अच्छा खासा 1000 रुपए वाला मीटर वाला कपड़े को कैंची लगाता है.
जी.
He can lose 1,000 rupees immediately if he makes one wrong cut, but he has the confidence that he can cut it. All right. In a very similar manner, the teacher should be able to say, I pick up the 7th standard textbook. I see a chapter on light. I know how to learn this.
True, sir.
Now, most times what is happening is that the teachers themselves, and I don't blame them, they are also victims of the same school system. All right. Just because they are teachers today does not mean that they have fallen from some other planet. they have also studied in this manner. So over a period of time, we as teachers have taught somebody to become another teacher, and that person has become like this. Okay, so the
Yes,
first
sir.
thing that anybody who believes that I want to be a teacher means that I am a good learner. You give me
Yes.
any new topic on earth,
Mhm.
give me the time for it, obviously, give me the resources for it, but I will be able to learn. What do
Yes,
I
sir.
need for that? I need language.
Yes.
I need to be able to read. I need to be able to listen. I need to be able to process that information that I'm gathering. I need to be able to make those new connections that I require. And I should be able to demonstrate that I am able to learn. So when
Yes, sir.
a teacher first can confirm to herself that I am a good learner, that is her USP. That is her
Yes.
specialty. So when she gets to class, what is she saying? She says, look, I learned it this way. And I got the complete joy
Yes.
of understanding this concept. You can
Yes.
also learn it this way. The teacher
Mhm.
is not teaching. The teacher
Mhm.
is demonstrating learning. The child
So
is
that is,
looking at this technique and saying, okay, I will also do this. Look
yes,
at that
sir.
example of music that we gave. If you have to sing, I can go ahead and sing as much as I want, but that does not mean that you're going to learn to sing. When will I be able to get you to sing? When I allow you to sing. Then correct
Yes, sir.
what is it that you have learned wrongly. Then tell you, no, this is the way to be, it has to be done, and so on. So I go about guiding this. So if we can look at learning itself differently from this perspective, we should be able
Yes.
to have the confidence that children can learn on their own. Children
Yes,
who
sir.
are 7th standard, 8th standard children, if you can watch them on the
Mhm.
ground playing cricket, for example, they do enormous amount of negotiation. They have a lot of fights. They can tell
Yes.
you about rules and regulations. They can even modify rules there and
Mhm.
say, okay, because our ground is small, 4 is going to be here, 6 is going to be there. Okay, and what is a
Yes.
no ball and what is an LBW, and they know much
Mhm.
more about all of that. Now, how can children
Yes.
who can do all of these things which adults do come to the class and they have to be told half into base into height is the formula for a triangle?
Yes.
We need to question that.
Mhm.
Okay, the
Yes,
second
sir.
aspect is that when did you start teaching them to read? Nursery
Mhm.
class,
Yes.
LKG, UKG. By the time the child was in first standard, you had already given that child a small language textbook and said, read it for yourself.
Yes.
Now, how come you have to pick up a sixth standard textbook and explain that in the class? The
Mhm.
child already is capable of that. So, therefore, the child is bored in the class because the teacher is reading. The teacher is not confident that the child is learning. And together, none of us
Yes.
are doing what is called learning. I believe all of us should
Mhm.
learn to enjoy that process. The teacher should be able to demonstrate how learning is done. The teacher should be able to inspire a child to learn. The teacher should be able to
Mhm.
say, like Archimedes said, the favorite story of every science teacher, that Archimedes one day got out of the bathtub and started running, saying, Eureka. Now, what does Eureka
Yes,
mean?
sir.
Eureka means I found out. Now, the joy
Yes.
of saying I found out was so high. So when the teacher
Mhm.
has sat and worked out the lesson at home, she has actually got herself into that state of tomorrow morning I should
Yes.
go and tell every child how this is done, how the
Yes,
focal
sir.
length of something is found out, how the magnet works, or how the electrical circuit is done, and so on. And so all those facts. If this
Mhm.
can be done, and at the same time the demand is made from this child that it's not adequate for you to sit and listen to me.
Yes, sir.
You demonstrate to me that you have learned it. And that
Mhm.
is where the proof of it comes, and it does not require that many number of years, which is why we said by class 5 everybody should be able to read on their own. You have spent 5 full years teaching them reading. How much more will you teach them? So
Mhm.
teach them something more, so teach them something else, right? But you can't go on teaching them how to read a science textbook or a social studies textbook. So these are
Yes,
the
sir.
small changes we believe that must come in. And parents in this perspective also appear to be believing in a very similar model. See, together what we are doing is whatever we failed in school, we were not very successful. Maybe none of us in this entire audience, all of us put together, ever got 100 out of 100. I never got.
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Okay, so we always have fears about an exam, fears about an answer to a question, and so on. So we pass on this fear to them. Each time we are going to tell them, I will explain to you, you are telling that child it is difficult for you to understand on your own.
Yes.
Each time I am saying, you show me the homework, you show me the classwork, you show me the answer, I will correct it. You are telling the child that you don't know how to answer, I will tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I believe from
That's true.
age 3, you
But
should stop doing this. The child should
okay.
start doing it. And the child should say, I will tell you how to answer this question. The child should start getting 150 out of 100 in every test. That is, it knows more than what the teacher
But
can ask. It will take time.
yes, sir.
It will take time because there are 10 teachers in that school. There are some, 200 parents there. All of these people should be on board into this idea. So there is a
Yes,
reason
sir.
why this should be debated. This should be thought through. Otherwise, see, we are wasting enormous amount of time of this child. The child is going from age 2.5, 3 to, about 18, 15 years of investment of life, and is getting nothing out of it. Anybody
Yes,
who
sir.
puts in 100 rupees into a savings bank account also will demand that you give me some 3.5 to 4% of interest. So why are
Yes,
we
sir.
not demanding a return on interest on the investment?
Sir,
Right?
actually, mm, yes,
Yeah,
sir, sorry
please
to
go ahead.
interrupt you. So actually, one thing I would like to say over here is that, as you said, that a teacher should be a learner, he should be a demonstrator, and when he will be a demonstrator, when he will himself show that those qualities, then only the students will be able to develop. But it's not going that way actually in the real life. In real life, what we are facing is the teacher. We recruit, even as a school, the school recruits a teacher on the basis of the qualification and not on the basis of the way of expression or demonstration. Most of the schools, they are just looking at the degrees. Okay, he is masters in science, so let's give her or him a class 9 to 12, and let's give him or her this thing. But we are not appointing the teachers in the class on the basis of their demonstration capabilities or how good learners they are. So this, I guess this is what is lacking today, if
No,
I'm
I,
correct.
I don't believe I don't believe that that is correct. Every adult is capable of thinking. Every adult can
Yes, sir.
ask oneself the question, am I capable? Forget the rest of the world. Forget what others can do or not do. Am
Mhm.
I a person who, I got myself a BSc B.Ed and therefore I'm a science teacher.
Yes, sir.
All right. But
Mhm.
am I a good science learner? I am asked to teach 9th standard and 10th standard. Can I understand everything in that 9th and 10th? Don't tell this to the
Mhm.
world, but please tell yourself. If you have not done that, you can go ahead and blame the world. Okay. Let me
Yes,
tell
sir.
you, I have a second class in 10th standard,
Mhm.
59% marks. All right. The first time I got
Mhm.
onto a stage to talk was in 8th standard, I think. And the only thing
Okay.
that I managed to go and do on that stage, this was some kind of an elocution thing. I had already mugged up some
Mm.
things that were supposed to be done. And as an 8th
Okay.
standard, a 13-year-old fellow, I go and stand on the stage and I say, respected teachers and my dear friends. I repeat this 3 times. The next word does not come out and I come away.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
Now, who is to blame for this? I can go ahead and blame the rest of the world. But if I do not correct it, who's going to correct this for me?
Yes,
Today,
sir.
I can speak for 4 hours flat in from any stage. It is because I got hurt by something that I don't have. When you look at a
Yes,
mirror, you need to be
that's true.
able to say, I don't have
Mm.
this, I want this. If you are not a good singer
So
today,
reflecting
unless
upon
you
the,
do riyaz, you will
yes.
not become a singer. If you are a
Yes,
maths
sir.
teacher, unless
So
you learn
according,
mathematics, you're not going to become a maths teacher. There's no shortcuts for
uh,
that. Okay.
it means that that the teachers are doing it willingly, that they are ignoring the students
No,
willingly. Does
they
that
are
mean
what they
so?
are doing is
That
they
they
are
are
getting
capable.
they are capable. Every
They are
teacher is capable.
capable of
Every
doing,
individual is capable. All right. It is
but
just
they are
that
not doing it.
opportunities might not have come their way. Today, at
Okay.
least nobody, I mentioned to you that when I started my career, there was nothing called internet. But today,
Yes.
a teacher can't say, मेरे पास किताब नहीं है, मेरे पास library नहीं है. The world is
Okay.
at your footstep. It's just a Google
Mhm.
click away. You name the
Yes.
resource. What you did not do in school, as a student, spend 1 year on it and you can become a better teacher. But you need to be hurt. You
Yes.
need to be hurt not because the headmaster has told you you don't know science, or the parents have told you, or your children are laughing at you, but because you know that you don't know something. If that
Yes.
hurts you, you will start taking correctives. And I believe that in 1 year, 2 years, every person can become capable. See, look at it this way. There is a sixth standard child who is
Mhm.
about 10, 11-year-old. Now, this
Mhm.
11-year-old child is studying a complete book in science, a complete book in social science, a complete book in mathematics, a complete book in English, a complete book in Hindi. It also plays games. It also goes to music. It also does all those things. And we are expecting these children to be competent, 10 year, 11-year
Mhm.
old. And we, as a teacher of only one subject in that class, are saying we don't want to be competent in that subject.
Yes.
We don't have a moral right to that. I mean, if this is a profession which demands it.
Yes.
Okay.
This
Now,
is a
somebody who
demanding
says that I am going to
profession.
cook for my family needs to feel
Yes, sir.
competent that he can cook.
Yes. Yes, sir. So what you are saying is that every teacher is capable of expressing, of demonstrating, and learning, and he just need to have that feeling that I have to improve on these capabilities and I
Yes.
have to do this. Okay, sir.
Hmm.
Thank you very much, sir. And I guess, sir, according to these discussions, as per these discussions, I guess we can spend a whole day on one question because we can go very deep into these questions actually. And these points need to be discussed, and everybody need to listen them because actually we are ignoring these facts. We are just keep
Hmm.
on going on ignoring these facts and so long. And this is the
I thought that
time
is
when
why
we
you
should
had
start
called your
focusing.
session as Deeper Insights.
Yes, obviously, sir.
Hmm.
And the reason why I started this session is just because I wanted to learn from the experienced people and I wanted to share my learnings as well with the people. So this is the main motto of this show actually. So moving on to our next question, sir. As you said that you have already explained us the part of the teachers and the parents how they can make the students independent learners, but what changes has to be should be done in schools and the teaching learning process to implement this, like to make the students independent? What changes should be
Okay.
done?
The one thing that I would believe we need to learn to distinguish as teachers, and I'm here specifically talking about teachers and their lesson planning process. Okay. Now,
Okay.
typically, a teacher goes from one period to another. She says, today I want to teach this particular topic, this particular problem. So I am learning or planning only this much, and I'm going there. Right.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Mhm.
if you are able to zoom out a little, this part of today's 40 minutes is a small portion of a complete chapter.
Yes, sir.
This chapter could be about, let us say, uh, living systems or whatever, or maybe reproduction or circulation of blood, whatever. If I zoom out, I'll notice that circulation of blood has to be understood in the context of the human body.
Yes, sir.
Human body itself should be understood in terms of food and health and hygiene and living happily.
Mhm. Yes.
So I cannot afford to get down to some four words that are there inside circulation of blood. And when I'm talking about circulation of
Hmm.
blood, I'm ignoring that the health of a person is not. I'm giving you a
Okay.
very broad kind of analogy of this kind.
Hmm.
When I
Hmm.
am dealing with a sixth standard child, this sixth standard child has already completed some 7, 8, 9, 10 years of education, has come to this
Yes.
class, and is going to
Hmm.
go through another 3 years before becoming ready for the secondary school. So if I say
Yes, sir.
that I'm going to teach this topic, I'm making a mistake. Now, therefore, we are saying
Mm.
distinguish between the textbook, the syllabi, and the curriculum. Let me take a language example here. There is
Mhm.
a story, there is a poem, there is a drama, there is some essay that's there in the textbook. We teach it as if that is the end of the earth. Now, you could
Mm.
always have another board, another textbook with you, which has some other chapter. So it is not this chapter which is important. What is important is how much of progress in language can I make by teaching this topic.
Yes.
Can the child listen
Mhm.
better? Can the child speak
Mhm.
better? Can the child read better? Can the child write better? Does this child know more words Does this child know more grammar structures? Can this child therefore think and produce much better language because this chapter has been done? What I have done is I have zoomed out and said, I'm doing language teaching and I'm not doing a chapter on Gandhiji. This distinction is what we are saying is the distinction between a textbook and a syllabi. Now, why should a child become competent in language? Because the child as an adult has to deal with other people. The child has to think about one's own thoughts and feelings. The child has to learn to express that, perhaps even more creatively, maybe become a story writer, maybe become a novel writer, maybe become a person who's going to speak from a platform. Okay. Now that person's career is going to depend upon how capable this person is going to become, how many words this child is going to learn, how many sentence structures this child is going to pick up, and so on. So if I can zoom out my perspective and start looking at children's development in this manner, then the very focus of my teaching learning is that, has my child become better today? At the end of the day, I have spent 6 periods, 6 different teachers have spent 40 minutes each. Has my child become better because of that? Now, once we appreciate this, of course, getting into the details of it is it cannot be done in this conversation. We can always make this a part of various training programs. One can also learn these things on our own. But essentially, if the teachers can start looking at it, if parents can start looking at it, has my child become a competent X years old? If the child is 14 years old, has that child become a competent 14-year-old? That is a guarantee that the child is also going to become a competent 18-year-old. It is also going to become a competent adult later on in life. Right. So this is that basic unpackaging of the curriculum that the teacher should do. Also, so you look at the amount of time wasting that we do in schools. We do a school day. And for that school day, because it has to, we will call parents, we will call in public, we will call in some chief guest and all that. We will put up a play there and we will spend some 1 month, 1.5 months cutting various other classes to train children to become, some great drama actors on that day. Where does the content for this come from? All the dances, all the songs, everything else that we put into that school day play. It comes from some sources. What if it can come out of my textbook? What if in the beginning of the year I say that from my Hindi textbook I will choose one play, from my English textbook I'll pick up one play, from my science or social sciences book I will pick up one play, and each of my class, everybody in my class is going to prepare this, and there's going to be a competition at the end of the year for selecting which of this best plays is going to get into the school day program. Okay. Not only have I changed the method of doing this chapter, I have also made it relevant for these children to be able to perform there. And when I can go to the extent of saying that they write their own dialogues, they write their own costumes, they write their, plan out this whole play and so on. They have not only learned English, they have also learned a lot of other things. Now, this is that little changes that can be done. You will save enormous amount of time and you don't actually have to carry the burden. Most teachers are carrying the burden of those 50 children. That's not your problem. Your problem is only to be a good learner and demonstrate that you can learn. You should be a good facilitator and provide the resources for children. You should be a good guide and show the children how to do things. Who should perform? Children. If this can slowly be cultivated in schools, teachers will not only save time, teachers will not only be happy, parents will be happier. There will be something more that will come out of education. And I don't believe anybody who says, "Hamara syllabus complete karna hota hai, hamare paas time nahi hota hai," and all that. That's you sit with me, and I will show you that your whole syllabus can be completed in 3 months. The rest of the 9 months you are actually wasting because you are doing repeatedly the same thing all over again and again. In 8th standard also, you teach children spelling, you teach them grammar, you teach them past tense and present tense. Why are you teaching them those things? They have already learned it for 13 years. So, and I guess this unpackaging. This unpackaging is what must be learned.
Yes, sir. Unpackaging is must. And I guess most of the time goes into taking tests of these chapters, I guess. When a chapter takes hardly 1 or 2 days and then we take test and then revision test and then the final test, and every time we are taking tests of these chapters instead of trying to focus
Clearly,
more on teaching that
we are
thing.
trying to demonstrate our fear of that subject. Clearly,
Yes.
we are demonstrating that we are not confident that our children have learned. Okay.
True, sir.
So
And then
parents
it's
and teachers together should simply say it is the child's responsibility to learn. It is the child's
sir.
responsibility to show that he or she is capable and has put in the amount of effort that is required. All teachers should do is they should be very confident. They should put a tick on a checklist with them saying that I have done my job correctly. Teacher's job is to
Yes.
teach, not learn. The learner's job is to learn. Okay. We start doing the child's work and the
Yes.
child starts doing the teacher's work, and together both of us are wasting time.
Yes, sir. True. So, but there are when we are adapting this process in real life, then the thing is, not all the students are capable of learning on their own. I guess some students are there who actually need help. So, what about those students?
You see, you look at this context of this conversation itself. You believe that you have worked for so many years in education, but you are still able to see some newer insight into some particular aspect that I am speaking about. How did I get this insight? I got this because I traveled on that road before you.
Yes.
Okay. I read some book. I spoke to somebody. I made sense of what that was. And I got some insight which I'm able to share with you. Someone who has not yet come there, someone who's a fresh teacher, someone who's a 23-year-old person who has joined schooling today, might not have got this insight. What does life teach us? Yet each encounter that we have in life, each person that we meet, each situation that we encounter will teach us something, will enable us to ask questions. Okay. So the more you ask, the more you try to seek, the more you will get it. And of course, schools have to together do this job. It's one teacher can, I was that rebel teacher. I could go ahead and push myself, but then that's about the amount of pushing I could do. So did I succeed? No, because the rest of the teachers also have to be falling into that line. The parents also have to be. Parents will say, "You people are wasting time in school because you're getting my child to do some natak."
Yes.
The parent also has to appreciate what is the role of this natak.
Yes.
Okay. Now I can go ahead and say, look, I have got a report card with me which says that your child has got 90 out of 90. Your child has not learned anything, but that's not my business. So together we'll have to work. So if in a given school, I can't go ahead and say the tomorrow morning the national education policy is going to say this, and the whole country is going to change. Such things don't happen. What happens is a group of people will have to get together. The principal, the teachers, and the parents will have to sit together and say, for our children, this is what we want. And then think of what is the best possible thing there. Do you require some expertise? Do you require some resources? Do you require to change some methods of doing things? Do you require to change the timetable? Do you want to change the method of exams? Do you want to do things differently? If you ask yourself this thing, first of all, then you can get it. Why we don't go around suggesting to everybody that they should repair is that they don't have a problem yet. A doctor can't go around saying that, look, come here, you are very fat, I will tell you how to become thin. The patient has to say that. The patient has to come to me first. Only then I can give the medicine. Okay, but it's possible. Everybody is competent. There is nobody who's a slow learner. That child has not learned something because the child has not been taught that or demanded of it. If in 6th standard the child can't read the textbook, it's because the child has never been told that it can read the textbook. The next 3 months you insist on it and get that, and you say, I will send you to 7th standard only if you become capable of being in a 7th standard. Set that benchmark, set that demand, start making that possible. There's so much of time in school. There's so much of time at home. Okay. Now we believe that doing the homework is all the study that we do. But liya, homework kar liya, finished. Now that's not study. For instance, children are sitting at home. Why are they not sitting with and everybody is attending online classes? Why are they not looking at YouTube? Why are they not looking at TED? Why are they not looking at all the websites that they want? Why are they not studying on their own? I mean, this 4-6 months should have been used to study the next year's syllabus also.
Yes.
It should have been possible. Okay. If not anything, 100 story books, If I've read 100 storybooks, I have learned a lot more English.
True,
This
sir.
should be the perspective. It is not the subject. It is not the topics.
Okay, sir. So according to you, by making just little changes in our curriculum, in our daily routine, in our timetabling, in our periods, in these all the school activities, we can actually make the students independent learners.
Yes,
And this
yes,
can be done through the mutual understanding and mutual work of parents, teachers, as well as the students
yes.
and the school as well. So moving on to our next question, sir, I would like to ask I would like you to please distinct between the curriculum, syllabi, and the textbooks, how they are different. And because we consider the textbook is the syllabus which has been given to us, and that is the curriculum which we are following. So what it is actually? What is the difference between these three things?
Hmm. See, if you look at the NCERT textbooks, which many
Yes,
states also follow sort of verbatim, they might have it in a different language, but mostly they are books which follow a similar syllabi. They could even have come out from a private publisher having published some book and saying it is strictly based on the NCERT syllabus. But nevertheless, this is a way in which NCERT has visualized what is relevant for that class, for that subject. Where does this
yes,
come
sir.
from? In fact, if you go to the NCERT website, there is another document called the syllabus for the primary stage, the syllabus for the upper primary stage, etc. Now, when people sit and write the syllabus, they say, we want to give these children a 3-year course in science, 6th, 7th, and 8th standard. And in this 3 years, these are the competencies that we want to build up in children. Now, where do they get the idea that what should be developed in children? There are two things that come in here. One is, how old is this child? What is it that this child is capable of learning? What can I get this child to do? For instance, we never allow a primary school child to start learning a motorcycle. We
Yes, sir.
at best give the child a cycle. And if the child is even smaller, we will give that child with a training wheel. We are not going to
Yes, sir.
go around, suddenly saying, okay, you can also ride a car. All right. So there is a structured way in which this has to happen, and this is understood. All the knowledge in educational psychology is brought into play, and we decide what is relevant for the upper primary stage, what is relevant for the secondary stage and the higher secondary stage, and so on. We also look
Okay.
at what is it that the country wants. Everybody is getting the same education. Everybody
Yes,
should be
sir.
ready for a particular kind of career. Everybody should be ready for doing certain kinds of things when they become, when they get into 10th standard, when they get into 12th standard.
Yes,
Everybody should have
sir.
an equal opportunity to do that. They might not like it. Everybody need not become a pilot. Everybody doesn't have to become an engineer or a doctor. There are hundreds of things that one can do. Like, for instance, I never went for any engineering entrance. I did not go and become an engineer. But I have become a capable citizen, a capable
Yes, sir.
adult who can manage his or her own life and is not a liability to the society. Now, this is articulated in that curriculum book. So, if you say there is something called a national curriculum framework, and for
Mm-hmm.
those of you who are interested, please go look at that document. That document tells you that in 10 years of schooling, we want children to be developed from this stage to this stage. These are
Okay,
the
sir.
changes that happen in upper primary school. These are the changes that happen in primary school. These are the changes that happen in secondary schools. And we want these children to develop these capacities. So, therefore, over a
Yes,
period
sir.
of time, we have articulated what is it that must happen to children. And that is the goal of schooling. The textbook is a means for that. The textbook is an
Textbook is.
enabler for that. Okay. Learning light or sound or heat or electricity is not physics. Through
Yes,
the
sir.
learning of these 4 chapters, we learn physics.
Yes,
Physics
sir.
is the way of looking at the world. Physics is a set of
Yes.
tools for learning. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
that is what we learn.
True, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I hope that everybody who is watching us right now, we are having various comments also, and some people are also joining us. So, those who are watching us right now, they are understanding the concept of the textbooks and the curriculum and the syllabi. And so, moving on to our next question, I would like to ask that how should the students and the teachers focus? What should the students and teachers focus on in the school? What should be the main focus of the students and teachers should be?
As I mentioned, the this transaction of the syllabi, the completion of chapters, the completion of particular subjects textbook is a means to something. So if I say that there is a child who's in 8th standard, there is a psychological level at which that child can operate. And these incidentally have also been listed out. There is something called a list of competencies. What should my child be capable of when that child completes 8th standard? So you
Yes.
can, in fact, go to the NCERT website and you'll get a complete document of this kind, which tells you exactly. If I say my child can read, see, reading is something that a first standard child can also do. A 10th standard child
Yes.
can also do. What is the difference? How does the English teacher, for instance, say that this child has successfully completed 9th standard? In terms of reading, what is that capability? In terms of writing, what should the child be capable of writing for it to say that I have successfully completed 9th standard? Now, this should be the focus of teaching. For that, I might use a poem on Lakshmi Bai, or a chapter on the India's freedom struggle, or some scientific discovery or whatever. Those are means. Those are not. That is not the subject. That can always be learned. There are hundreds of things that we don't learn also. For instance, do we at all know what was the history of Korea, or what was the history of Thailand or Indonesia or whatever? They're all our neighbors. We know the history of America. We don't even know what our history. What do we know about South America, for instance? What do we know about Canada, for instance? Right. So there are hundreds of things that lifelong one can keep on learning. That should not be the focus of this one. What is the improvement in capability of this child? Now that can happen with a very small change. I ask children to produce language, not receive language. Teacher speaks in the class. Teacher writes on the board. Children do not speak. Children do not write. What must happen is children should read. Children should write.
They should do.
So
Yes.
if I say, for instance, I have a target that by the time children come to 5th standard, they must have finished reading Harry Potter.
Yes.
Okay. They must have read 100 storybooks. They must have learnt the following sets of performing arts. They must have learnt drawing, painting, sketching with pencils, with crayons, with watercolor, with oil paint. They must have put up a play. They know what costumes are. They know how to plan for something.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So if we can, that is what the curriculum says. In fact, if you look at the National Curriculum Framework, that's exactly what is written there. But by saying, no, I don't want to read the National Curriculum Framework, I don't want to read the syllabus, I want to read only the textbook, I'm missing out. Even in the textbook, the first couple of pages where it says a preface from the director of NCERT or the notes to the teacher, we very clearly articulated what is it that we want you to do with these chapters. So all you need to do is do your job. I believe everything is written there. We should not miss out on that. And parents should also not insist on, within quotes, scholastic learning. Completion of a chapter. Doing the questions at the end of the chapter.
And so sometimes when we are focusing on learning and improving on capabilities, most of the teachers are concerned that our syllabus will be left out. So are the textbooks, the NCERT textbooks which are given, are they need to be completed in that year only?
Yes,
Do
they
we
should be
need to
completed.
complete them?
Yes, they should be completed, but not by the teacher, by the child.
Okay.
Let's pick up a chapter on the globe, 6th standard, first chapter. Okay. If a child knows reading, the child can read this chapter, mark out those things that the child perhaps doesn't follow, try and find out the answer. And if the child cannot do that, come to the class and ask the teacher. If you have the internet, if you have various other resources with you, And if I have taught you how to use those resources, why should I teach you the
Very
spelling
true.
of a word? You go to the dictionary.
Yes, sir.
Now, so
True,
it
sir.
is just a matter of the small change in perspective. And I believe independent learners will learn. And even today, there are lots of children who are learning. It's not that children are not learning. They're
Yes.
learning in
Teachers
spite of the
are,
system.
students are different. Yes,
In spite of the system.
yes, sir.
And I believe at the end of it, every teacher is going to get a medal when that child,
Yes, sir.
having become a 30-year-old fellow, meets you on the street
Yes, sir.
and recognizes you
Yes.
as his teacher.
That's
They do
true, sir.
not give you a Paramveer
True, sir.
Chakra in schools. They don't give you any Arjuna Khel Ratna awards for you. Okay?
True, sir.
The only thing that you will get is a recognition by your students when they become competent, when they go and say that I became this because of this film. So every
Yes,
teacher
sir.
should have this aspiration. Every teacher should fight for it, struggle for it, and that's exactly what I believe everybody who wants to be successful should do. Struggle for
Yes,
it,
sir.
fight for it. If society has not given it to you, go ahead and find it yourself. You can get it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All
Yeah.
the world's resources are available to you. But I believe that if this small change in perspective will help them become much more confident of their own ability to learn, and syllabus will automatically get completed. Okay.
Yes,
If
sir.
all the children, for instance, you announce that next Monday I'm going to start chapter number 4, I want you to have finished reading this.
Yes.
More than half the class would have finished reading it. More than half the class would have already learnt it. You can concentrate on the remaining who don't learn or who cannot learn.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So if you change this method, by another 3 years, by another 4 years, you can't do this in 9th standard. All right, it's too late.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
should
yes.
start this class 1 or maybe even
Yes.
earlier.
So according to you, just from the beginning, we should set a trend. Every teacher and every school should set a trend that how he or she is going to go in the further years, and should train the students from the day one only. Okay, sir. Moving on to our next question, sir, I would like to ask you that what should we actually assess in a student? Like when we all give the report cards at the end, we all give the progress cards. So what should be assessed in a student in the school?
Okay. The simplest answer, and I think we have adequately developed on this till now, is
Yes,
what
sir.
competencies has that child acquired.
I
If I
mean to say
say,
that how that can be reflected in a report card or a progress card, how that can be, those
all right,
capabilities can be reflected.
all right. Now, suppose I say, I want you to read a storybook.
Yes, sir.
What is the proof of reading? Should I come and tell you that I have read this book? Should I come and tell you what is there in the story? Should I tell you, should I be able to write an essay, a summary of that storybook? You can always set your benchmarks. If
Yes.
suppose it's a preschool class and I give them a little
Mhm.
storybook to read, which is a picture book, I want them to look at a picture and tell me a story.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
it becomes an oral exercise where that 3-year-old child is describing what is there. And if anybody who has worked with 3-year-old children will know that children will invent their own stories there, depending upon how they have understood that story.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
If I were to do this in 6th standard or 7th standard and I'm doing it in a science class, I'll say, go ahead and describe this phenomena to me. Explain this thing to me. Okay. Show me
Yes.
how this is correct.
Mhm.
These are all subtle changes that happen here. If I now today look at a question paper and ask, how many of these questions can I answer by looking at the textbook? If most of the questions are coming out of the textbook, then I'm clearly sending a message to the child, to the parent. इस टेक्स्ट बुक को रटवा दो, बच्चे को मार्क्स आ जाए.
जी.
Ensure that none of your questions can be answered by reading the textbook.
Yes.
But every one of them can be answered in 2 or 3 different ways by understanding what is there in that textbook. Which is what I mentioned in the beginning of my conversation, that a child should be capable of getting 150 out of 100, not 100 out of 150.
Yes, sir.
You give me a question, I'll give you 4 different ways of answering that question. I'll give you more examples. You ask me for 4 words for as an example. I'll give you another 2. You
Yes.
choose 4. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
when we set this tone to the whole classroom, and it's not impossible if parents and teachers together decide that our children shall become competent. I believe
Yes,
these
sir.
things can easily be handled. Of course, we will have to get to the nitty gritty of how to. For instance, a teacher might not know how to ask a question of this kind.
Yes,
For
sir.
instance, we say that the area of a triangle is half into base into height, right? And the teacher has no clue of why that is so. And therefore, what
Yes.
happens is the teacher will try to memorize this, pass on the fear, and insist on the child memorizing this.
Yes, sir.
Now, a triangle, if it's a right angle triangle, is half of a rectangle. You take a
Yes.
rectangle, cut it along the diagonal, it becomes 2 right angle triangles, right? And that is why it is half
Yes.
into base into height. Now you turn this triangle around, it no more looks like a right angle triangle. You'll still be able to apply that same formula.
Yes.
This is that generalization that you are teaching children, right?
True
So
that, sir.
which comes out of the understanding of the syllabus, which comes from the understanding of the curriculum, which comes from saying I am not a teacher of that maths textbook, I am a teacher of mathematics. I know
Yes.
what maths is. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I believe
Right.
that is all that needs to be done. Very simple things. Frankly, anybody should be able to pull this off. And parents also can actually start doing this. If they can simply go around asking, why is the area of a triangle half base into height? I'm sure there will be 1 million answers from Google.
Yes, sir.
No, it is
That's true,
not
sir. And
enough
sir,
for
how
them to know
when
the answer. It's not enough for them
yes,
to
sir.
know the answer, but they should know what is a wrong answer. They should be
Yes,
able to
sir.
reject the wrong answer. In fact,